What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And today, y'all know what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to start the show off like this. Just to give y'all an understanding of how things are when we go through this type of stuff. I don't want to say that I was right, but I am going to say that I'm right. I told y'all that at the end of the day, Russell Wilson was not going to come here. Told y'all Aaron Rodgers wasn't going to come here. And our best chance was to go after Jordan Love. That's what I told you. I said Jordan Love would be the type of guy that would come in here and everybody would be okay with the move because he's still young, on a rookie contract. And like I told everybody, most of the thing I was telling everybody was that more than likely, he just needs time to play. And then there's a lot of people that everyone listens to, radio personalities in particular, and they have you guys all believing that Jordan Love shouldn't have been in play. But these were the same radio people talking about Mitchell Trubisky. But ultimately, Ron did what Ron ultimately does. And that's make the wrong decision. And I remember when I sat up here and talked about it in my last show, where I said, let's stop the narrative about Ron not being able to pick his quarterback. Every year he's picked a quarterback for his team. And every year his quarterback choice made no sense. None. Year one, his quarterback choice was Kyle Allen. We traded away a high 5th round pick. Understand the 5th round picks we got back for Trent Williams and for Quentin Dunbar were lower than the 5th round pick we sent to Carolina for Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen is now a free agent, and they're not even talking about bringing him back. Wasted draft pick. Then we bring in Ryan Fitzpatrick for a 1-year deal at $10 million, was a substandard quarterback, and guess what? Got injured, not even coming back, wasted. Now here we are with Carson Wentz. If the man didn't work out in Philadelphia with a quarterback-friendly head coach in Doug Peterson, remember, Philadelphia fired a Super Bowl winning head coach because of Carson Wentz. Because of how he felt about Carson Wentz. And then Philadelphia ended up having to trade Carson Wentz. Then you're sitting here talking about the fact that Carson Wentz was traded to another team that was a quarterback-friendly head coach and Frank Reich. And guess what? He still failed. And now you're talking about Carson Wentz coming to a team that's not quarterback-friendly by any stretch of the means. He's coming to a staff that's not quarterback-friendly. And what, are we supposed to think that Carson Wentz is now all of a sudden going to be this great quarterback? Especially with him coming to a quarterback team, a team that isn't quarterback friendly at all when it comes to the coaching. This is a disaster. It's a disaster. And I know a lot of y'all hate when I come on, and I'm right. All roads lead back to Mr. Wonderful. All roads lead back to Mr. Wonderful. And it's no doubt about it. I was right. I've always been right. When I told y'all, Ron Rivera was making the wrong decisions. He was the wrong head coach to do a coach-centric approach with. I told y'all that. And guess what? In his 3 years, he's failed us. We have known we needed a quarterback for years, and he brings his butt in here. And the first thing he does is don't bring back a quarterback-friendly coach in Kevin O'Connell. Nah, he wanted to bring in his buddy, his friend's son, and let's not talk about that. The promotions his nephew and Jack Del Rio's son got on the coaching staff. We're not going to go there. We're just going to focus on Carson Wentz. Oh, and by the way, that Jack's son who was promoted, he's the assistant quarterbacks coach. Next, let's talk about the mind state of Carson Wentz. For anybody that knows, Carson Wentz has had a massive problem with mentally being together when he's found quarterback competition. What do y'all really think the X Factor is going to do to him? Now, a lot of y'all are sitting here, some of you are like abused women who just keep going back to the abuser. No matter what happens, every time you turn around, you hear somebody say, well, I mean, I guess it's the best we can do. No, it's not the best we can do. But even if it was, why him? Of all people. This is one of those things where you just sit up there and say, well, shit, just run back with Taylor Heinicke. Because guess what? You're going to eventually run back with Taylor Heinicke anyway. I'm going to predict something for all of you. Unless Ron has the stupidity of letting him go, Taylor's going to be our quarterback in 5 games. Because everybody's going to get tired of seeing Carson Wentz within those 5 games. After 5 games, Taylor's going to be our guy. Taylor's going to win enough games to make sure that we don't get a high draft pick in next year's draft, which is the quarterback-friendly draft, and watch what happens. We're going to end up picking another linebacker. Yes, I said it. This Carson Wentz trade was incredibly stupid. This goes to the extent that it's not only Ron, it's the front office, it's the scouting department, it's all that. Because there's no way you're telling me that Carson Wentz was the choice that everybody ended up on. I mean, because even if you just like, you know what, we're just not going to participate in the quarterback draft this year, I would have understood it. You know why I would have understood it? Because Mike Shanahan did it one time. And guess what? I was okay with it. Because I knew that following draft, which was the 2012 draft, had great quarterbacks in it. I knew that. We all knew that. Which is why the blow of going into a season with Rex Grossman and John Beck was softened when the 2012 season came around, because we were players in that whole thing. I don't know why everybody, when I say something, everybody tells me I'm delusional. You not believing in Ron's process. You don't trust in Ron. Yeah, because guess what? I've seen all the mistakes he's made. All the mistakes he's made. You're talking about he in one draft, he made a massive mistake drafting Jamin Davis at the 19th overall pick. When everybody that could see, how does a person who's not in your scouting department know what fits your team better than you? See, what y'all don't understand is that Ron is caught up on prototypical type of players. A linebacker should be 6'3" and 230 pounds. A tight end should be 6'5" and 250. An offensive lineman should be 6'6" or 6'5" at the least, and maybe well over 300 pounds. That's what Ron is thinking. Ron is never thinking anywhere else. Oh, you know what? Here's Carson Wentz. We're going to try our best to fix who he is. I'm supposed to believe that Ron is going to have the solution when he couldn't help Dwayne Haskins, when he couldn't sit up there and help somebody like a Kyle Allen, when he didn't have the right way to sit up there and get Taylor Heineke together. So I'm going to believe that somehow, some way, this particular coaching staff, who's never developed a quarterback, is somehow going to fix Carson Wentz. That's what you want me to believe. You want me to believe that. Are you serious right now? Are you serious? Then let's talk about the big thing. Let's talk about the X factor. Carson Wentz has the weakest self-esteem when it comes to going up against backup quarterbacks. The X factor is going to destroy Carson Wentz's confidence. Destroy it. Taylor Heineke, his competitive nature, who he is, what he is. He was sitting on his sister's couch, got the benefit of playing a 16-game season. You don't think that even for the slightest of moment, the X factor will sit up there, grab Carson Wentz's confidence, and chuck it dead in the trash? Y'all don't think that's going to happen? With a guy who got a complete offseason of figuring out more about this offense, looking at game tape of what he was doing, going up against some of the best defenses last year, going up against some of the best quarterbacks last year, you don't think that somehow, some way, the X factor is going to not sit up there and come into the offseason acting like he's going to try his best to sit up there and be the starter, and you talking about you got this soft-minded quarterback that can't compete against backups? You think that Taylor Heineke, the X factor, the guy who sits up there and is a competitive guy, somehow, some way, Carson Wentz isn't going to be weak-minded against a guy like that, even though he may sit up there and have more talent than him? You don't think that that's going to bother Carson Wentz? Carson Wentz was the worst thing to pick up. Now, I'll say this. If he happens to do well, I'll take it back. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see him doing well. We don't have a running game that Indianapolis had, where they kind of took the ball out of his hands in key moments. Jonathan Taylor was in the running for league MVP at running back. Understand that man was a lot of the offense. That man did a lot of things. Understand this, y'all. This is a failure on Ron Rivera. This is a failure on Martin Mayhew. This is a failure on Marty Herney. This is a failure at all levels. Because at the end of the day, when everything is said and done, we will be seeking another quarterback. And let me not forget this major part. We're going to take on $28 million. $28 million. So y'all know what that means, right? Landon Collins is gone. They need his money. But guess what? Goodbye, J.D. McKissick. We won't have him here. Goodbye, Bobby McCain. He won't be here. Goodbye, Cornelius Lucas. He won't be here. Yeah, we're not going to have none of those guys. You know why? Because of $28 million that you given to Carson Wentz for 1 year. You're about to miss out on J.D. McKissick, who we saw when he went out, we did not have an answer for. We're going to lose Bobby McCain, who basically started to adjust and work in our defense. Even though I said we needed to upgrade, guess what? We won't have the money for any of those nice safeties that's out there in free agency. Not one. We're talking about we wanted to upgrade the tight end position. Have another guy opposite of Logan Thomas. Nah, we're not going to have the money for it. We're not going to have the money for anything this year. And guess what? At the end of the day, for all of you who still want to sit up here and say, I support Ron. I support Ron. I love Ron. What I want to say is this. I don't want to hear none of your mouths if at any point we start to see Carson Wentz flounder and fail, or if his confidence is shot because Taylor Heineke is outperforming him in the offseason and all that type of stuff. I don't want to hear nothing. Not a thing. Because at the end of the day, this is y'all head coach, not mine. This has been your man, John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.